All right, let me set the stage for what we're about to see here, because this case raises fundamental questions about law enforcement and the rights of disabled Americans. In August 2022, a man named Matthew McManus walked into a Target store in Albuquerque, New Mexico. He was trying to buy a bicycle. He was paying cash at a self-checkout. And what happened next got an Albuquerque police officer named Kenneth Skeens fired and criminally charged. Now here's why this matters. The Americans with Disabilities Act requires that individuals with disabilities receive equal treatment. The Fourth Amendment governs when and how police can seize a person. And qualified immunity determines whether officers face consequences when they violate those rights. We're going to watch the body camera footage together and apply the actual law to what we see. Not emotion, not politics, the law. If you want legal analysis that holds everyone accountable, whether they wear a badge or not, make sure you subscribe. Let's get into it.
Good. Got you. You take 2 hours. Go ahead and take your money. Go ahead and grab all your money. Let's walk out, okay? Take your money out. Do you want to walk us to walk you out, or you want to walk us out? Go ahead and put your money in there. I'm going to move this back, okay? You're coming with us, okay?
You gotta go.
Gotcha. Take your money out. You're coming with us now, okay? So go ahead and grab your money, sir. We'll be walking out, okay? Go ahead and pick your money out. Okay. So we're going to grab your money out for you. Do you want to walk us to walk you out, or you want to leave, okay? You're going to be issued a criminal trespasses so you can't come back to the city now, okay?
I was just getting my money out.
So go ahead and grab your money, sir. We'll here's your money. Put it in your pouch. Walk down, okay? And you're going to be identified, okay? And you're going to be issued a criminal trespass. That's okay. Come back and walk down, okay?
I'm calling.
Okay, so right off the bat, I'm watching this officer take the bicycle away from a man who is actively trying to pay for it. Did you catch that? He's at the register. He has money in his hands. He is a customer. And what does Skeens say? Grab your money and let's go. That's not a request. That's a command to leave a store where this man has every legal right to be. Here's what the footage doesn't tell you. Matthew McManus has documented disabilities that affect his processing speed and mobility. Under ADA Title III, public accommodations like Target must provide individuals with disabilities equal opportunity to participate in their services. That includes taking extra time at checkout. But watch what Skeens assumes. He later told other officers he wanted to run McManus for warrants because, and I quote, "I'm going to bet this fellow has got a warrant or two." That's not reasonable suspicion. That's profiling based on how long someone takes to count their cash. The man says no thank you and asks for a receipt. He's asserting his right to complete a lawful transaction, and the response is physical removal from a store he never should have been forced to leave.
Talk to me.
Alright, you got an ID on you, man?
Not giving you any idea.
If you don't identify yourself, you're under arrest, okay?
You're not police.
Yes, we are. We're Albuquerque Police
No, you're
Department.
not. You're security.
So what's your name, man?
None of your business.
Alright, then you're under arrest. Go ahead, put your hands behind your back. You're refusing to identify yourself, correct?
Who you calling, man? You ain't even
He's
pressed
calling
call
911. That's what he said anyway. So yeah, just go ahead and put him in handcuffs, because he's refusing to identify himself.
yet. Okay, hold on.
I was just paying. I was just had
Hold
my
on,
stuff
Mark.
locked in my fanny pack,
go ahead,
and the security guards came, and I didn't take more time than anyone else. The other ones before me.
So now you're going to be charged, okay, with concealing identity, resisting officers, okay?
No,
And you're going to be trespassed, so you can never come back here again, okay?
And there it is. You're under arrest for refusing to identify yourself. Let me explain why that statement should concern every single person watching this. In New Mexico, the Stop and Identify statute requires reasonable suspicion of criminal activity before an officer can demand identification. What crime was Matthew McManus committing? Shopping slowly? The Supreme Court addressed this exact issue in Hybel v. 6th Judicial District Court back in 2004. The court held that states may require identification only during a lawful Terry stop based on articulable reasonable suspicion. There was no reasonable suspicion here. None. This man was dragged outside, and when he tried to call 911 for help, they stopped him and slapped on handcuffs. Think about that. A citizen attempting to summon emergency assistance and the police prevent it. Now they're stacking charges: concealing identity, resisting, trespassing. This is what we call pretextual charging. When an unlawful detention goes sideways, officers sometimes pile on charges to justify the encounter retroactively. And here's what makes this worse. APD has been under a federal consent decree since 2014, following DOJ findings of excessive force patterns. This department was supposed to have reformed. What I just watched suggests otherwise.
Stand up.
No, that's not right. I was just paying my things. And I didn't know you were police officers.
Yes, we told you that already.
I didn't see your badge.
Okay, well, we told you, right?
We identified
Security
ourselves.
guards say they're police officers
We
all the
identified
time.
ourselves as Albuquerque Police.
Let's
We
go
had a
ahead and get
reason
him
to talk to you.
stood up and search.
The reason to talk to you was they didn't want you in there no
man.
more, okay? So we have the reason. We asked you your name. You didn't give us your name. That's
What was
concealed
the
identity.
reason?
They didn't want you there, and they have that right as the business not to want you there anymore. We're gonna help you stand up. We're gonna put you in that patrol unit over there, okay? Sound good?
No, it don't sound
Well, that's what's gonna happen.
good. 911, help me, please.
No one's on the phone, man.
I didn't see their badge. I didn't know they're police officers.
Well, everything's on camera, just so you know. You became very resistant in the store, and out
No,
here.
I didn't.
We asked you your name. I'm done explaining to you. That's fine. You're under arrest.
You're under arrest, okay? That's not changing now.
For what?
Concealing identity, resisting officers, okay?
I didn't know you were police officers. How can
I told you.
conceal?
That's your own fault. You didn't listen, okay? I can't help you with that. You don't want to listen. But go
I
ahead,
didn't
just stand up.
believe you were police officers.
Stand up. You didn't believe us?
You
Doesn't
look
matter.
like security guards.
Go over here.
Listen to what he's saying. I didn't see your badge. I didn't know you were police officers. This is not obstruction. This is confusion from a vulnerable person who genuinely did not understand who was accosting him. Here's what the Fourth Amendment requires. For a seizure to be constitutional, the person must understand they are being detained by law enforcement. The Supreme Court in Florida v. Bostic established that encounters become seizures when a reasonable person would not feel free to leave. But what happens when someone doesn't even comprehend that police are involved? Officers in plain clothes or ambiguous uniforms have a heightened duty to make their authority unmistakably clear. This is especially critical when interacting with individuals who have cognitive or sensory disabilities. McManus repeatedly expressed genuine doubt about whether these were actual officers. And instead of de-escalating by clearly displaying credentials, they escalated to physical force. Watch what they tell him. That's your own fault, you didn't listen. They're blaming him for his disability-related confusion. This is the antithesis of procedural justice. The DOJ's 2014 findings against APD specifically cited failures in handling people in crisis. Officers were supposed to receive enhanced training on recognizing disabilities and adjusting their approach accordingly. What I just witnessed was not adjustment. It was aggression towards someone begging for clarity while kneeling and crying.
Don't resist anymore. Stop.
Just walk, man.
No.
Just walk.
No. I didn't do nothing. I was just about to pay my money in the automated system. I was putting my money in and I didn't do nothing.
We told you what's going on. Stop.
I didn't
I'm
know
done
that.
with you.
You
Stop.
didn't explain it.
Separate your feet. We told you who we were.
I got security guards tell me they were police.
Well, then, sorry those security guards told you that, but they...
We are actual law
Yeah.
enforcement officers. What's your name? Tell me your name. You gonna
Separate your...
tell me anything, man?
Not till I get a lawyer.
Well, that sucks to suck, man.
No, I have the right to remain silent.
Not when it comes to your name.
No, that's
You do, but that's why now you're going to jail for concealing identity.
So Matthew, here's what you're under arrest for, okay? Concealing identity and resisting evading instructing officers, okay?
Don't catch a felony charge by hitting me or anything. Step in.
Just make it easy. I don't feel this.
all I was doing it was paying for my things.
Yeah, it was explained to you
And
many
you
times,
had to
man.
cut off one of my fanny packs, you know. You saw how hard it is to get my money out. And I was trying to get my money out, and I got it all out. And then you came, and I thought you were a security guard.
So this is how it ends. Matthew McManus dragged to a police car while stating clearly, "All I did was pay for my things." And you know what? He's right. That's all he did. He committed no crime. He had money in hand. He was at a register lawfully completing a transaction, as any American has the right to do. Let me step back now and give you my full assessment of everything we just watched together. This was not a close call. This was not a difficult legal question requiring extensive deliberation. Kenneth Skeens manufactured probable cause out of thin air, then constructed a criminal case against a disabled man whose only offense was counting money slowly. The charges, concealing identity, resisting, and evading, these were legal fictions designed to cover an unlawful arrest that never should have happened. Here's what troubles me most deeply about this case. 2 juries could not reach unanimous verdicts. 2 separate trials ended in hung juries before charges were dropped in April 2025. That tells me something profound about how difficult it is to hold officers accountable even when body camera footage captures clear constitutional violations in high definition. The evidence was right there on video. We all just watched it. And still, the system could not deliver accountability. Now, is this a Kenneth Skeens problem or an Albuquerque Police Department problem? The answer is both. Individual officers make choices. Skeens chose to target a vulnerable man. He chose to assume warrants existed based on nothing. He chose to escalate rather than de-escalate. Those were his decisions, and he bears responsibility for them. But institutions create conditions. APD has been operating under a federal consent decree since 2014, following DOJ findings of systemic excessive force violations. The James Boyd shooting that same year, a homeless man with mental health issues killed by officers, demonstrated the department's dangerous approach to vulnerable populations. Over a decade later, we're watching the same patterns. That's not coincidence. That's institutional failure. The Americans with Disabilities Act requires reasonable modifications in law enforcement interactions. Title II of the ADA applies directly to police departments. Courts have consistently held that officers must adjust their approach when dealing with individuals whose disabilities affect their ability to respond to commands. What did we see here? Zero adjustment, zero accommodation, zero recognition that Matthew McManus deserved different treatment because of his documented conditions. Every police department in America needs to internalize these legal doctrines. Graham versus Connor's objective reasonableness standard, Terry versus Ohio's requirement of articulable suspicion, Florida versus Bostick's framework for consensual encounters, the ADA's mandate for reasonable modifications. These aren't suggestions. These are constitutional and statutory requirements that carry the force of law. Officers who don't understand these frameworks shouldn't carry badges. Departments that don't train on these principles shouldn't wonder why they end up under federal supervision. What happened to Matthew McManus was wrong, legally, ethically, and morally. The law said so. The APD said so when they fired Skeens. The Attorney General said so when they filed charges. The only failure was in the jury rooms, where accountability died in deadlock. This case matters because it represents thousands of encounters we never see. Vulnerable people confronted by officers who view disability as suspicion. Citizens whose rights evaporate because they process information differently or move more slowly than officers expect. Constitutional literacy isn't optional for law enforcement. It's foundational. And until every officer in America understands that the badge grants authority, but the Constitution defines its limits, we will keep watching videos like this one. I'm not here to tell you what to think. I'm here to show you what the law actually says and let you measure conduct against that standard. That's what legal analysis requires. Not emotion, not politics. Evidence and law. Tell me your name and where you're watching from in the comments below. I want to hear from you.